pretty pumped to get this message out that's on my heart today because I feel like it's sort of a great follow-up to my last few episodes. So we've been talking about making the choice to create the reality we desire and using our self-sabotaging thoughts to drive us instead of trying to avoid them here on Elevate with Erica. So now today I want to ask you guys this. What if everything you're working on right now, or things, projects that you really want to start, but maybe haven't yet built up the belief in yourself to take that first step? What if they all just work out? Like, be crazy with me for a minute. What if they all just work out? What if you reach the goal or outcome that you desire? What would that feel like and look like? What would that version of you be thinking about herself, himself right now? Is it proud, empowered, excited, confident, maybe even lighter because this weight of trying to keep a desire tucked in is now off of you and just out into the world, and it worked out just as, or maybe even better than you imagined? I really want you to take a moment and just feel it. Close your eyes and imagine the feeling of your dreams, goals, desires, big projects just working out and becoming your reality. Goosebumps, tears, it brings up all the emotions for me. And just taking a moment to imagine that puts me in a totally different mental space than operating out of the fears that I have of it not working out and failing, right? Putting myself in that space of what if it all works out frees up that part of me that's going to allow me to take a step today. Yes, maybe it's just a step a day, but it's a step towards the goal instead of 2 steps back, telling myself, what if I fail? What if I can't figure it out? What if I look stupid? I know that I have a quality within me that not everyone has. I don't let the fear of failure hold me back for long. I'd be lying to sit here and say that I didn't think about failure because I've made big changes in my life. And if you listen to my podcast, if you're a frequent listener, then you know that life is full of contrast, though, and without fear, there cannot be courage. I don't desire to fail. Of course not, right? Like, I didn't go into my first marriage desiring for it to fail. It did. I didn't pick my college major for desire to that not to plan out at all, but it didn't. But I think a few factors of my childhood gave me the opportunity to figure things out on my own, which made me very reliant on myself. I don't blame my childhood for the way that I am today. I thank my childhood for it. I don't wish my parents hadn't divorced so that I didn't know the heartbreak of never having both mom and dad at once or having to say goodbye to one every other week. I don't wish my mom was a stay-at-home mom who was there to prepare my every meal, help with homework, do all the laundry, care for every bump and bruise that came up, both emotionally and physically, so that I didn't have to know the work behind relying on myself to care for myself through all of those things. I don't wish any of that was any different because they created a person today that knows that I'll figure things out. My parents separated long before I would have had the chance to even remember them together. Having divorced parents created a trait within me, though, that allows me to process my emotions by knowing it's okay to feel them, and then learning to spot the good and not sit too long in the things that don't feel good. Having a busy, working, socially active mom gave me the opportunity to create an independence and trust within myself, to know that I can figure things out on my own. Whatever it is that needs to be done, whatever I desire to do, I know that I can figure it out. Makes me really stubborn too, but it's a part of me and I love it. You know, I'll be honest, it made me not so great at asking for help though, but I'm working on it. Just keeping it real. As always, I surely don't have all this figured out, guys. I realized very early in life, though, that I'll figure things out. But also, I realized very early in life that figuring it out doesn't always mean it'll look exactly like I'm picturing it in my head today, which let go of that need to feel perfect. Because what is perfect? What it means is that I'm going to land somewhere closer to where I want to be or to what I desire to accomplish if I just go for it. I'm going to be a stronger person having taken the shot, right? You've heard that quote, shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars, right? That's what I'm getting at. And you don't need my childhood to get to a place where you know you'll just figure it out if you're not quite there yet. And you're thinking, that's great for you, Erica, but I really don't think I can. I really don't think it's going to work out for me. I can't move this past this fear of failure that I have. So what I want you to do is just focus on the moon. What if we just aim with the intention, the knowing that it's all going to work out? That the failure is in not trying. That we will land among the stars. That doesn't sound so bad to me. What sounds bad to me, what I'm genuinely fearful of, is getting to the end of my life with all my shouldas and not getting a second shot at this thing. It sounds painful to me to sit here and try to tuck all my desires away and go function as a mom and a wife and as the Stepford wife, like this robot with no dreams and goals of my own. It sounds awful to me to watch other people accomplish things that are on my heart too, but that I'm not acknowledging or too afraid of failure to work for. If you want to fear something, let's fear that. Fear never getting to meet the most successful version of you, the one that never let the fear of failure stop them, the one that didn't go through life trying to avoid failure, the one that was so focused on this idea of appearing perfect that they never got to meet the beautiful parts of us that bloom in the harsh conditions of this messy middle that I'm in right now. It's blooming parts of me that I never knew were there when I left my full-time job in June of 2020, being in this messy middle of building this business with very little support from those around me. It's blooming parts of me that I never would have got to meet and that I absolutely love. Perfectionism is just another form of fear. It's holding you back from being who you were intended to be. And it's an excuse. And I want you to just take a breath today and close your eyes and just imagine that it all works out, because it will. And maybe not exactly how you plan it today, but it will work out, and your future you will thank you today for taking the steps towards that thing tugging at your heart to do. So how do we get to a place mentally that allows us to see the possibilities of success more prominently than the possibility of failure? Because to me, it's not about trying to avoid fear. That's impossible. If you're not fearful, you're not going after big enough goals. So how do we instead just get to a point where the possibilities we see outweigh the fears that will always be there? By the way, no matter what level of success you get to, I actually hope that for you. I hope that you're always a little scared. I hope you are always living life that big. So how do we get to that space mentally? Well, I know what gets me to that space, and it's doing exactly what we did to start this episode today. Every single morning, I close my eyes while I'm mentally preparing for my workout that day. And I just imagine everything that's on my heart that day working out. This episode isn't launching until a week after I'm recording it right now. But today, as I'm recording, is Monday, October 24th. And I'm waking up after a weekend away tent camping with my husband in the Blue Ridge Mountains, where we had zero service, which was amazing. But now I'm playing catch up. Also knowing that in just a few days on Friday, we would be leaving for our next camping trip, this time in our camper with our kids for a big weekend of celebrating Halloween and my youngest son's 9th birthday. And then I need to have a podcast and supporting YouTube video completed for Monday, October 31st. So happy Halloween when you're listening. I need to reach out to my current clients to upgrade their existing services as our fitness platform is doing some rebranding and expanding, and big changes are coming. I need to plan my November Fit Club and marketing materials because November is next freaking week, you guys. And somehow in here, I need to plan for a big camping weekend with my family. Also, my mom's birthday is Wednesday, October 26th, and I would never go a year without celebrating big the woman who made me who I am today. So, it's a busy week. And I woke up with the anxiety and the panic of I can't do it all. And my mind was pulling me in 25 different directions. I felt like I had no direction, no idea where to start, no course of action, just holy crap was basically the overall sense of my body. I can't do this. Like, have you ever hoped that you would get the flu just so you could hide under your covers? No? Okay. Me either then. But yes, I just felt that fear of failure over all the things I'm attempting to juggle this week. I just felt that again. Like my shoulders just physically got heavy explaining it to you guys, how I felt when I first woke up this morning. And I don't want to be back in this headspace. So let's talk about how I got out of it. I shook up my pre-workout. I turned on some dance music. And I danced around just to boost my endorphins. And then I just closed my eyes. 3 deep breaths till I could feel my shoulders just lower and release their tension. And then I imagined everything working out this week. And I imagined the topic of this episode today and launching it successfully. Creating everything I need to kick off that November Fit Club for my clients, planning my son's birthday food and festivities, having everyone's Halloween costumes finalized because as of now, my youngest costume is still en route. Camping groceries shopped for and packed for the weekend while still enjoying rest and relaxation and getting that balance of getting adequate sleep, but also taking the time out to celebrate the most important woman in my life. My mom. Eyes closed, deep breaths. It all works out. Try it. Run through those things heavy on your heart today and just say to yourself, what if they all work out? And then imagine what it will feel like when they do, because it makes me smile instantly. I do this every single day, and it's a huge reason why I've been able to continue building my own business from home and believe so strongly in its success, even despite the many obstacles I faced with just the overall climate in the world today, right? Like there's plenty of ways for me to fail and just fall on my face with this thing I'm building. But I can't create the future I desire by dwelling on those things that could go wrong. I wouldn't still be here today if that was my focus the past 2 years. I would be back in the 9 to 5. It's a totally different mental space to be in when I do this. It was for me. After I did that this morning, it was a totally different mental space than the one I woke up with. It gave me instant clarity because it made the possibility of success more prominent than the weight of my fears, right? Because where your focus goes, your energy flows, and that weight of fear is heavy and it clouds things up in your mind and it makes you start validating that fear with all the things that could go wrong. And that's just not serving us, right? That's not going to bring me joy. It's not going to bring you joy. It's not doing anybody any good. So I got that clarity this morning and that knowing that it's possible for this to all work out this week. And sometimes just knowing that it's possible is all we need to take that step today. That step today for me was letting go of the silly idea that I'm going to do it all today. It doesn't even need to all be done today. So why am I worrying about it all today? Let's just focus on today. And today, my only priority is this podcast because it needs my attention this week. And it's going to take the most of my energy and my time out of all my other to-dos. So let's just knock this out. I enjoy this. And dwelling on all the other things is taking away from my joy of this, of being in this moment with you guys. So when I can knock this out, get that confidence boost from it, I can free up the space and energy to be fully present in all the other things. I don't want to be weighted down by this big project all week. It doesn't make me feel like this is all going to work out. That puts me in a place of anxiety mode all week. So I'm tackling this big thing first because this is what I know that I need to do today. I know that today, if given my attention, I can put out a podcast episode that I'm proud of. And I know I can help people by just sharing what I'm going through right now today. That's all I need to know today. I know this is going to work out. Tomorrow, I'll be moved on to a totally different priority for the day. Tomorrow, my clients will get all of my attention in the form of November Fit Club announcements and ensuring they're all set for the direction our company is moving. But today I'm present. I'm here with you. And I know that this is going to work out. I know that the priorities I have for tomorrow will work out. Like, I'm getting goosebumps telling you guys this because I take the time to really feel it, envision it, be it, believe it. And that got me to a place this morning of, this is all going to work out. You got this, Erica. You can figure this out. I believe in you. Shoot for the moon and land among the stars, right? It's an empowering place to be mentally when you can get yourself there. And it's not, oh, I did this one time and I'll never do it again, right? Like I said, this is something I do every day. I close my eyes. I imagine everything that's on my heart that day, working out. I know some people also choose to write it down instead of just closing their eyes to envision. Everyone's different. Sometimes I go through seasons of my life where I actually do that. Do what evokes the biggest response or shift within you. Tomorrow, I may wake up in a panic again. Who knows? But I know what to do. Erica, what if it all works out? So I ask you, what if it all works out? Clear up that space in your mind so that you can see your possibilities more clearly and aren't clouded by the fears that are holding you back from taking action and believing that you can. Imagine that it'll all work out. And then ask yourself, how would that version of you show up right now in this moment? Because if it's all going to work out, you know you're not going to get there by being who you are when your fears are holding you back, right? Keeping you stuck. You know that. So ask yourself, okay, if it's all going to work out, what do I need to do today? What would the version of me who works all this out be doing today? What can you do with the 24 hours in front of you? That's all that matters. And then rinse and repeat. Okay, so 3 things I want you to start doing today to help you get to a place where you're operating from what if it all works out instead of what if I fall on my face in front of a crowded room. 1, literally take a moment to just ask yourself, what if it all works out? You have to be willing to let go here in this practice and dream it, be it, imagine it, envision it, write it down every single day. Yes, every single day, because that's how you create the muscle that allows you to see opportunities of success faster than you do scenarios of failure. 2, show up today as the person who it all works out for. What would he be doing today that's going to get them there? This is where we set our priorities and our intentions for the 24 hours in front of us. And 3, and yes, this needs to be a whole step on its own because it's important. And it's one people often skip because they wake up totally motivated or distracted by something else one day, and then they don't think they need to do it that day. Number 3 is rinse and repeat. Number 1 and number 2. I've talked about the 5-minute journal I use, and I'll link it again in the show notes because I think it's great for anyone who's just starting a journaling process, as it is only 5 minutes of your time, right? It has very specific prompts that you answer every day. This journal is one of those habit stackers for me, where it reminds me to also do the habit of number 1 and number 2 that we've talked about today. It gets my mind focused on what I'm grateful for, what I would do to make that day great, and my intention or affirmation for myself that day. It's a practice of coming at those fears, right? With like a strong possibility of a lot of freaking success. And that's what I want for you. Your mind is like a muscle. That's why this number 3 is so important and deserving of its own step, and the one I'm talking about the most. The more you teach it to do something, you train it to start doing it without you giving it much extra thought. This will become like something you do every day, right? Like brushing your teeth, hopefully. Just like working out. You're not going to create a habit of working out, right? If you only do it on the days that you're motivated. So let's create the habit of taking a moment each day to imagine it all working out for us. I'm going to wrap up this episode with this, guys. Walk in faith and confidence towards a future where it all works out. Don't be fooled by your fears. It's not your future if you're not growing. Your future depends on what you do today, because who you are today is not going to get you to where you want to go. So do something today that gets you closer to where you want to be tomorrow. And be willing to take a step, take some leaps towards things that may feel uncertain at first. It's in those things that you'll find you're stronger than you think you are, you're capable of more than you realize, and your future is brighter than you could have ever imagined. And I want you to feel excited about your life instead of feeling bound by your fears, because what you dwell on is who you become. So dwell on the possibilities for success. Take a deep breath. It will all work out. Today is your opportunity to create the tomorrow you want. Until next episode, friends. E.